credibility of the process. That plays to the fairness of which candidates who have passed the verification process are able to compete for seats. The transparency around delegate selection process is in place. I think federal member state presidents and the Prime Minister have committed to these through political agreements that were made earlier this year. And I think our role is to support the holding to account of the leaders to the agreements that they have made. And as I say, it is important where there are issues that they are raised through the formal mechanisms that have been put in place to enable those issues to be, one, transparently handled and addressed.
Absolutely. There are agreements in place, and we will continue to urge all stakeholders, the President, the Prime Minister, the federal and state leaders, to abide by those agreements and to stand by their commitments and obligations, and then conduct a process that is credible and transparent. And where there are concerns, we do think that they should be raised through established mechanisms. It is our role, in our view, to support the agreements that are in place.
As the two main donors of Somalia and direct financiers of this election, can you call directly to the FMGs, those who are blocking people to exercise their constitutional rights on behalf of Farmaajo and his regime? Why don't you call directly?
So we regularly speak to all the key stakeholders, and that's across key figures in the federal government. So the President, the Prime Minister, with the FEATs, with the federal member state presidents, with the seats, with the CPC, the opposition candidates. I think our role is to talk to everyone and to have that conversation, to hear concerns and to bring people back to the commitments and frameworks that they have agreed to and committed to. We will do that through a combination, I think, as you would expect, of private discussion and advocacy, pushing and challenging on some of the trickier issues, but also speaking out publicly when it is appropriate to do so and to amplify key messages, very much as we are doing in this conversation with you today.
We do engage broadly and regularly with those involved in this process, and we take on board concerns. We share them broadly as we converse with various individuals who are involved in implementing these elections, and we'll continue to do that. Many of these conversations take place privately, as is the custom in the kind of work we do, in the diplomacy that we do, but other conversations take place publicly as we're doing right now.
Colleen, the US signaled it will be reconsidering support for Dana following its participation in Gur'eel conflict. Are you following up on this matter? What steps, if any, will you be taking?
Our review of our support to the Danab is ongoing. We provide training and support to the Danab to advance our shared objective of defeating al-Shabaab, and we want to ensure our support is being used appropriately and in line with US policy. We continue to urge, speaking of the Gur'eel conflict, we continue to urge Somali government authorities and Ahlu Sunna to engage in dialogue to peacefully resolve the conflict. I think further dialogue is necessary. We would not, under any circumstances, want to see any further fighting. That would only worsen the humanitarian situation. Already the humanitarian situation is dire. It also would distract from the critical priorities of completing the elections and fighting al-Shabaab.